Okay, very good morning, everyone. Today we'll discuss network forensics. Okay, so till now we discussed what are the different tools like web forensics, Windows forensics, mobile forensics. Now we'll go for the network forensics. So some few tools are there. You can search with the word called as a network miner. Okay, just type in the Google network miner. So in this you can see net RECEC network miner. This is very helpful in network forensics, this site. So you can download. It's a free tool available, and we also have some paid tools here. Paid tools is also available. So paid tool has some more features. Paid tool has more features. So you can just download this tool and work on it. So it will capture all the images. It will capture the files which are traveling from which are passing from your Ethernet card. Okay. So we have encryption. Encryption is also one of the hurdles of forensic investigation. If someone uses encryption protocols, it's not easy to get back. It's not easy to analyze it. If someone using encrypted data, they cannot analyze most of the things. Yes. Another software we have that is called as a Wireshark. Wireshark. WRICSHA. Wireshark is almost #1 protocol analyzer. So for this, just go to the settools.org. So here, a top tools will be displayed here. One is Wireshark. Okay, na? One of the best sniffer, you can say. One of the best sniffer. All the top tools will be displayed for top hacking and cracking tools. That is top hacking and cracking tools, you can say. One is Wireshark, one of the best sniffer among these all 10 tools. And Metasploit. So 1 minute. So Wireshark. Wireshark is one of the best sniffer. We also have Metasploit, Nessus, ACrack. ACrack mainly used for Wi-Fi attacks. ACrack is also one of the top tool. ACrack. It is used in Wi-Fi attacks. So like we have like this, we can have so many tools. One is not plain and able. We already discussed. Backtrack, Netcat, TCP dump. So there are some top tools you can see in this website, sectools.com, sectools.org. So among these 10 different tools, we'll discuss one tool called as a Wireshark today. Okay. Wireshark is a open source, free, and best sniffer. So generally, you will work on Cisco Cisco packet tracer. In that, Wireshark is not available. If you go for JNS3, okay, you can check the how many packets are passing from one node to other node with the using of Wireshark. So Wireshark is enabled in JNS3, not in Cisco packet tracer. So you can install it. It's open source, free, and it's the best sniffer you can see. All the activity like whatever the packets traveling through Ethernet card can be captured by the this Wireshark here. Okay, so I'll open Wireshark now. Take time. So Wireshark is mainly used for network protocols to analyze. One of the best sniffer you can say. Sniffing attacks. Man-in-middle attacks. So all this comes under the sniffing. So click on Wi-Fi. You can go for Wi-Fi today. Here you can notice a lot of UDP protocols. Just a second. Wireshark. So you can see so many packets here. You can notice a lot of UDP packets are moving here. From my laptop, from source IP to destination IP. So here I am running Google Meet right now. Almost data is sending in Google Meet, that is from my laptop to Google Meet here. So previously I said one tool called as all of you remember, I think, who is domaintools.com. Okay, who is domaintools.com. So what is the use of domaintools.com? Anyone please chat in chat box. Yes. Who is domaintools.com? You can see n number of UDP packets here, UDP and TCP packets. So I started sniffing here already. You can see the source IP address as well as the destination IP address and different protocols, the length and information. Okay. So what is the use of who is the domaintools.com? If I want to check the IP address of the destination, okay, I can find the IP address of the particular destination here, IP address. Okay. Just go for the who is domain root protocols. Please check anyone here. 74 who is domaintools.com. So just go for this website. So search with IP, whatever IP you have set. Okay. So you can search so many packets, UDP packets 74, 125, 74.125 dot. Yes. 250, 13 dot 250 dot 13. You can search the domain name here. So validation, because I'm asking some captcha. Go. So you can get the IP information. Who is seeing your information here? So I can get the domain name with the whoisdomaintools.com. It will respond with the owner name of the website. Okay. It will respond the owner name of the website. So like that, you can see n number of IP addresses, destination IP addresses, you can see. Okay. So if it is encrypted, you cannot see data directly. If it is plain text, you can do a lot of stuff. You can do a lot of stuff here. Source is your IP address and the destination is the other person who is seeing your website. So what is a plain text? Again, plain text is which is not coded. Original text, you can see. So encrypted means it is a coded text, you can see. So which is plain text, which is encrypted? Generally you want to understand the difference between the HTTP as well as the HTTPS. Anyone please chat in chat box what you know about can anyone say what is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS? Please chat in chat box. HTTPS is secure. Why? So what browser I'm using, you can see some lock symbol here. You can see some lock symbol. Yes. You can see some lock symbol here. Whether it is a HTTPS or HTTP? Yes. HTTPS. Okay, good. So generally, HTTP is a plain text. HTTP is a plain text, and HTTPS is a encrypted here, encrypted one. So you can see the lock symbol here. Okay. Okay. So if I want to filter some TCP protocols, okay. So this plays very important role in Wireshark TCP. So I can click on TCP here. I can see only TCP packets. Just enter here this TCP. So TCP is a stack of protocols. You can see different HTTP protocols. Okay, different stack of protocols you can see. So you can select any one of the protocol. Just right click on it, follow TCP string. So it is in a not in a plain text. It is in a encrypted message. Or go to file, export objects. If you click on any packet, go to file. You can see some HTTP, whatever it may be. HTTP, you can export any file here. So you can also see some header files. What you learn in computer networks generally, you learn some packet called as IPv4, IPv6, TCP packet header here, or UDP packet header. Yes or no? TCP headers, UDP headers. You will notice some checksum. Yes, you will notice some checksum, destination IP address, source IP address, some flags, fragmentation offset, and total acknowledgement number for TCP, sequence number. So these fields you can see in the each packet you can see. So click on Internet Protocol version 4, IPv4, and version, header length, and differential services you can see, integrated services as well as the differential services. Flags, fragmentation offset, time to live, what type of protocol it is, error checksum. So this information can be seen in the IP packet here. Okay. So by the help of Control F also, you can check the packets, packet bytes, narrow only, string, and you can type the password. So I want to search the password of any Wi-Fi password. You can click here. So you can apply the filters. Filters plays an important role here. Filters plays an important role. So generally, this Wireshark mainly helps to get the network in the form of network perspective. Who is a person browsing? What kind of website is browsing? So generally, man-in-middle attacks. Man-in-middle attacks. That from what is a man-in-middle attack? From that IP to your IP, those packets will be routed through your IP address. Okay. So you can have so many features in Wireshark. We'll discuss some more tools, important tools, next class. Okay. So you can download this Shop. You can check the differences. So to site name is sectools.org. You can see top tools here like Shop, Metasploit, and SS Aircrack for Wi-Fi, Plain and Able. So I'll not go with everyone. You can check out. You can download from your not in a host operating system. You can download in virtual machines and work out it. Okay. So let's give me some time to open your okay. Can you see my screen now? Yes. Okay. Thank you. There is some network issue. So in previous class, we discussed risk identification and plan and organize the process and asset identification and inventory, and in the different components of information security like people, procedures, data, software, hardware. Okay. And we also discussed some today we'll discuss the people, procedures, and data asset identification. So we discuss important concepts like what are the components of information security. It may be people, procedures, data, software, and hardware. Now today we'll discuss, continue with the people, procedures, and data asset identification. So one of the main thing is here is identifying human resources. Identifying the human resources, documentation, and data information assets are more difficult to identify. More difficult to identify than identifying the hardware or software assets, you can say. Identifying human resources, documentation, and data information assets are more difficult to identify uh, than identifying the hardware or software assets here. So assets should be recorded using reliable handling process here. Assets should be recorded generally using reliable data handling process. So important asset attributes, one may be people. So people, generally we have the position. For the people, we have some position in the organization. Yes, some ID, member ID, and whether it is a supervisor or not, and some security clearance levels, some special skills you can see for the people. You want to identify this people's position name, member ID, and some security clearance levels, some special skills what they know. Even for procedures, we have some description, documentation, you can say what intended for this purpose, and what are the elements it is tried, and storage location for the reference, and storage location for the update. So what are the procedures, what are the documentation, how you are providing the storage location for the reference, as well as the storage location for the update. Data classification, data. So whatever data you have, you need to go for classification of data, and you should have some owner, a creator or manager to classify the data and provide the security for the data. So for that, you can have data structure size, data structures used. Some you can store in online or can store in offline locations. Yes. Backup procedures are employed. Backup procedures are employed. So similarly, like people, procedures, and data asset identification, we also have hardware, software, and network asset identification. You want to identify the hardware, software, and network asset identification. So what information attributes to track depends upon generally what are the needs of organization, needs of organization. What are the risk management efforts the organization follows generally. So what are the preferences needed? What are the preferences or needs of security or information technology communities? Technology communities. So when deciding which information assets to track, when deciding which information assets to track and which information are considered attributes. So there are some attributes listed below. One is the name. One is the name. So what is the use of what is the name? What are different attributes you can see? One is the name. Name is nothing but example. So organization have several names to same product, you can say. organization have several names to the same product. Then IP address. What is IP address? So what is the IP address generally? So generally these IP addresses are useful for network devices or services, you can say. So this IP address generally software. So however, use of relation database track the software instances on specific servers or networking devices, you can see. Some organizations use DSCP. Some organizations use the DSCP for IP address. DSCP within the TCP IP that assigns the IP address, IP number as needed. So what is the full form of DSCP? Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Dynamically assigns the IP address to the particular host. Okay. So making use of IP numbers as a part of asset identification. Making use of IP numbers as a part of asset identification. Next, coming to the MAC address. So what is a MAC address? Anyone? Please chat in chat box. Where you can find this MAC address? Where you can find this MAC address? NIC card, network interface card. Okay. It is also sometimes called as a electronic serial number. Electronic serial number. Sometimes called as a electronic serial number. Or you can also call it as a hardware address. So for TCP/IP, all network interface hardware devices have unique number. So MAC addresses number generally used by the network operating system to identify specific network device, you can see. Yes. Next, element type. So what is element type? So element type generally is a function of each element by listing its type. If you take the hardware example, list of possible elements for the hardware type is, to take the hardware, what are the list of elements for the hardware? Element type sequence. It may be a servers. Yes. Any examples? Anyone? Desktop, networking devices, any test equipment sequence. If you come for software, element type, list of possible element types are generally software. Anyone? Operating system. Yes. Any custom applications, you can take example. Custom applications. Custom applications example, you can take accounts is a custom application. Some package applications. You can take also package applications. And you can also take some specialty, you can say specialty packages, specialty applications, you can say. For example, you can take firewalls. Firewalls come under this. Firewall programs comes under this. Yes. So element type, function of each element, you can list by the type. Okay, if it is a hardware, it is software. In hardware, again, server, desktop, networking devices, test equipments also comes under the hardware. Software, custom applications like accounts, package applications, specialty applications like firewall programs. Okay. Next, serial number. So what is the serial number? So generally the serial number can be seen for the hardware devices here. Serial numbers can uniquely identify a specific device. A serial number can uniquely identify a specific device. If you see your SIM also, you can have one serial number. Okay, serial number is there for every SIM. Okay, uniquely identify the particular device, particular specific device you can see. If it is a hardware, it is a device. If it is a software, we are assigning some software serial number to each instance, you can say, of a program, which is licensed by the organization. IMEI number is different. Yeah, is different from the serial number. IME number is uniquely identified for the mobiles, International Mobile Equipment Identity. Someone wrote. So uniquely you can identify some serial. It is serial number for hardware is different, for software is different. For software, you can assign some serial number for each instance of a program licensed by the organization. Next, so record of manufacture of device of software component, you can see. You can also have some model or a part number. Model numbers you can see. When you buy any product, you can see the model number, also called as a part number. Record of model or part number of element, you can see. You can also see some software versions, what type of version you are using, and physical and logical location. So what is the physical location generally? Where this element is located physically. Where you want to locate physically. Logical location is useful in networking devices generally. Logical location indicates logical network where device is connected. Logical location where the devices are connected. Logical location. So next one is the controlling entity. What is controlling entity? So nothing but entity which organization unit controls the element. Entity which organization unit controls the element. Example, you can take controlling network devices. Controlling network devices. Network devices of traffic. Some controls are applied. So some automated tools can identify system element for hardware, software, and network components. So these are the important identification for hardware, software, and network identification. If you understand this MAC address, if you know the IP address, element type, serial number, manufacturer name, model part number, software version, physical and logical location, controlling unit. Some automated tools can identify the system element for hardware, software, as well as the network components. Yes. So we'll go with the data classification and management. So generally, corporate and military organizations generally they can use the variety of classification schemes. So generally, information owners are responsible for classifying the information assets. So who are the information owners generally? So in first we will discuss some of the responsibilities of each member here: champions, executives, CEO, CIOs. Okay, now we vice presidents of information technology, vice president for information systems. So we discuss some of the roles and owners, data custodians, some of the roles in the organization for each people here. So information owners are responsible for classifying their information assets. Okay, for which they are responsible. Information owners are responsible for classifying the information assets for which they are responsible generally. So at least once in a year, information owners must review the information classifications here to ensure the information is still classified correctly and appropriate access controls are in place. At least 1 year, compulsory. Once in a year, at least once in a year, information owners must review the information classification, whether the classification is correct or not, whether to ensure that information is still classified correctly or not, whether the appropriate tools or access controls are applied in a particular place or not, in an organization or not. You want to check it. So most organizations do not need detailed level of classification, which are used by military and federal agencies. But however, organizations may need to classify data to provide the protection generally. For that purpose, information classifications must be reviewed periodically. Yes. So organization need to classify data to provide protection. We have 5 levels of classification schemes. One is the unclassified data. I think we are not there in this unclassified data. Okay, I'll tell, no worries. So organization need to classify data to provide the protection. We have 5 levels of classification schemes. One is unclassified data. Unclassified means so data distributed to the public without the threat, unclassified. It is called as unclassified data. Next, second one, sensitive but unclassified. So sensitive but non-classified. Example, you can take office use only. Generally, you can see something like office use only. purposes generally. It's sensitive but unclassified. So it is not classified, unclassified. Next, third one. Confidential. What is confidential generally? Example. So which is not compromised the information is a confidential. Secret, you can say. Secrecy. Not secret, secrecy. Next, fourth one, we have secret. Secret information. Generally, we can say some secret information. So example, military people maintain some military plans are secret, more secret. Our intelligence operations comes under the secret here. Fifth, we can say one more, top secret. So example, you can take the national defense plans. So this is a top secret. So data can be classified like this: unclassified, sensitive but unclassified, confidential, secret, top secret. Okay. So a simple scheme can be allowed, allow the organization to to protect such sensitive information as research data, personal data, customer data, and general information, communications, general internal communications, sorry. So you can see some public information for general public dissemination. Example, you can take advertisement or public release. Generally office use only. Generally information is not sensitive. Internal communications, sensitive information is more important to business. Example, you can take cause a loss of market share if it is relieved. Classified information, almost secrecy to organization. Some security clearances should be there. Other side of data classification, security clearance. So what is the security clearance? Other than the data classification, other side. So each data user assigned a single level of authorization, indicating the classification levels. Classification levels, whether he is authorized to view or not. So before accessing some specific set of data, employee must need to know the requirement. So one is the management of classified data. Management of classified data. So what is this management of classified data generally? So requirements for management of classified data or management of information, you can say. It may be a storage, distribution, portability, and destruction are classified data. Okay. So when classified data is stored, it must be unavailable to unauthorized individuals. You can see nothing but management of classified data. When classified data is stored, it must be unavailable to the unauthorized individuals. You can see. So what is a clean disk policy? So clean disk policy generally requires each employee to secure information here, secure information in its storage containers. The end of each day. So requires each employees to secure information in storage containers at the end of each day. When excess copies exist, proper care should be taken to destroy the unneeded copies. Next, last one, dumpster diving. So individuals who search trash generally. Dumpster example I say, individuals generally who search for trash. You know what do you know what is a trash? Trash or recycle as a practice. That is to retrieve the information that could embrace or accompany or compromise the information security. Dumpster diving. Okay. So these are some data classification and management in information security systems. So tomorrow we'll go for classifying and prioritizing the information assets. Okay. And information asset evaluations.